Alright, that was a little painful, little small hiccups in that. But now that we're all on GitHub, we all have our accounts, we should all have a repository. And eventually you're going to want your repository to be private, so wait for that email for the student developer pack. And then follow whatever instructions it has in there. Now I'm going to open up my bash again, so I'm going to open up the start menu here. And just type in bash for bash, hit enter. I'm in my bash environment. So what I want to do now is install Git. So I type in Git and it's saying the program Git's not currently installed. You can install it by typing sudo apt/get install Git. If you're brand new to working with in a bash environment, sudo means super user. And I wonder if you can man it. Yeah, there we go. So executes the command as another user. It's kind of like your administrator. So if you type in sudo before command, it executes it with administrator rights. I'm going to type this in and just see if this works. I'm not sure if the package manager is going to work for Windows systems. It's going to ask you to type in your password. That's that password that you made for your Unix user when you first installed this. And let's see what's happening here. So basically what's going on here is this is using a package manager, whereas if you're primarily using Windows, you're used to going and downloading a file and then clicking on it and having this like cool interactive dialog box that walks you through the installation process. And it works well, but you have to manually find all your files. Notice I just typed in Git and it said, hey, you're probably looking for Git, so just type this in to install it. I typed it in, boom, it should be installed now. I can type in Git and there we go. So that's one of the huge advantages of working with a Unix style subsystem, Ubuntu, Mac, something like that, is you don't have to go through all sorts of different painful processes of installing new files and new programs. Alright, so now that I have Git installed, what I want to do is I need to open up my Git account again. So I'm doing that in another window. There we go. I'm going to navigate to my repository, my public one that I made. And what we're going to do in here is I'm going to clone this repository. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to copy all those files to my current system. Before I do that though, I need to figure out where I want them to live on my system, where I want this repository to be. And I want that to be on the desktop, so at any point I can come here and look at my current code. So I need to go back into my bash terminal, and if you're using Mac, you should just be able to do this command. I can't do that on the Windows or on the Windows subsystem here. The reason I can't do that is because it kind of lives in a different area. So how you get to your Windows desktop from your bash subsystem is you do this. CD stands for change directory, and there's mount. So mount is I'm gonna do this manually. Now we have our LS, our C drive. So I'm gonna CD into the C drive, and you'll notice here is kind of what you'll see if you go into your file manager in your Windows and this PC and go into C. Same files, program file x86 program files right there. We're looking for the user, so we're going to go into users. So I'm going to do that over here in the bash environment too, and it's a capital U. If you see any of these commands auto populate, like for example right here, I'm gonna change directory into kcbjt, which is my name of my computer, my user, which then is gonna have my desktop in it. And I'm gonna change directory into that. I'm gonna type the K in. Since there's no other file in here that starts with a K, if I press tab, the bash system knows, hey, you probably want that file. So you'll see me use autocomplete a lot. Alright, so KCBJT is there, and now ls for list the contents. I'm going to cd into the desktop. Alright, so now that I'm on my desktop, what I want to do is, I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see it pop up. I'm going to create a new folder. Remember how I did that workspace one back in the back in my home environment in the bash shell? I really want that on my desktop environment. So I am just going to make it here again, make dir workspace. And there you see it popped up right there. Alright, so now I'm going to cd into workspace. And just to make things a little bit neater, I'm going to make another directory called Django. Because maybe I want to have a bunch of different stuff in here. Maybe actually I'll even populate some. I'm going to make a Python directory so I can keep Python code in there. I'm going to make a directory for Java so I can keep some Java code in there, so on and so forth. But now I have one individual folder that holds all my code, and inside of that I have individual folders for each type of code. Just keeps things nice and organized. So I'm going to cd into Django. Alright, so now that I'm in the folder that I want my repository to live at, I need to open GitHub back up again, because I need to go back to that repository. So here's my repositories, COMP525 Django practice. I'm going to clone that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little clone or download. You could download the zip and extract it, but I'm going to do it this way. So I've copied this little string here, and notice it's nothing fancy. It's just github.com, your username, the name of the repository, followed by .git. That's all it is. It's not some fancy little code there. I'm going to go back into my bash environment, and I'm going to say git clone, and I'm just going to paste that. So I pasted it by clicking the right mouse button. Boom, see that? And now when I ls, I have that directory, comp525. I can cd into that, and there's that readme.md. And I can also go in here through the Windows file manager, go into Django, and there it all is. Alright, so I'm going to get further into Git, and you're going to become a lot more familiar with it here soon, so don't get stressed out. It's definitely very confusing first learning Git.